Welcome back. Don't ignore your pennies. Some of these little copper coins are shockingly valuable. Today we're breaking down which pennies are worth keeping, what rare errors to spot, and how you could turn a 1-cent coin into serious cash. Let's get into it. 1943 as steel wheat penny coin condition circulated. This coin stands out in American numismatic history as one of the most distinctive pieces ever produced. It was struck during a time of global conflict and resource conservation. The 1943 steel wheat penny was minted as a result of copper shortages during World War II, when the United States government needed copper for wartime manufacturing and shifted penny production to steel coated with zinc. The 1943's version was minted at the San Francisco Mint and can be identified by the small letter S under the date on the obverse side of the coin. Being in circulated condition, this coin has seen some degree of use in everyday transactions. The surfaces may show light to moderate, with high points on Lincoln's portrait and the wheat ears on the reverse side being somewhat flattened. Fine details such as hair strands on Lincoln's head and the texture of the wheat stalks may no longer be fully visible. The fields of the coin, which are the flat areas behind the main design, may have small marks, scratches, or tiny nicks caused by contact with other coins. In steel pennies, these surfaces often show dullness or a darkened tone because the zinc coating has either worn off or been affected by environmental exposure. Despite being made of steel, this coin was not highly durable in terms of long-term condition. Many steel pennies have experienced rust over time, especially if they were exposed to moisture. However, if this 1943's example still retains most of its surface without deep corrosion, it holds collector interest, especially for those assembling full wartime sets. The coin's composition alone makes it a centerpiece for World War II-era coin collections. The switch to steel in 1943 lasted only for that single year before the U.S. Mint returned to a copper-based alloy in 1944. As such, all steel wheat pennies from 1943 are considered unique and historically important. The 1943's had a total mintage of more than 191 million coins. This large production number means that the coin itself is not particularly rare in general terms. However, in circulated condition, the coin still has a respectable place among collectors due to its historical background. Even common coins can become significant when they represent a turning point in history or an unusual departure from standard practices. The 1943's penny is one of those coins. One detail that adds intrigue to the 1943 steel wheat penny is the frequent confusion it creates among newer collectors. Some believe all steel pennies are rare or worth thousands, but the reality is more nuanced. Uncirculated or pristine examples of the 1943's penny can fetch higher prices depending on their luster and clarity. In circulated condition, values are more modest but still meaningful, especially when presented as part of a full 1943 set from all three mints. Collectors often seek out examples from Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco to complete their wartime penny collections. This coin's historical significance lies not only in its metal content, but also in the national mood of the era. Americans at the time were deeply engaged in supporting the war effort, and changes like this reflected how even the smallest everyday objects were affected by the demands of war. Children were encouraged to collect scrap metal, including pennies, for the war effort, and the presence of steel in the coinage was a symbol of shared sacrifice and unity. Holding a 1943's steel penny is like holding a tiny piece of World War II history in your hand. Storage of a circulated 1943's penny should be done carefully. Steel is susceptible to corrosion, and a coin like this should be kept away from humidity. Use of acid-free holders and proper air-sealed containers is recommended to preserve its current condition. Even though this example is circulated and may not be in top visual quality, it still represents an era and a story that can be passed down or taught to future generations. In terms of value, a circulated 1943 steel penny may be worth between a few dollars to perhaps $10 depending on exact condition. However, if the coin still retains a bright zinc coating and minimal wear, it could potentially be valued higher. There are also rare variations, such as double die errors or coins struck on the wrong metal plankets, that can raise a 1943 penny's value significantly. Though this particular example is described as circulated and standard, it is still possible that close inspection could reveal a minor error or variety that adds value. Next up we have 1930 for Lincoln wheat penny coin without mint mark coin condition circulated. This coin is part of the Lincoln cent series, which began in 1909 and continued with the wheat reverse design until 1958. The 1930 for issue came out during the Great Depression, a time when the economy was struggling and every cent had real buying power. Minted in Philadelphia, this coin carries no mint mark, as was typical for cents produced at that mint during this time. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 219 million Lincoln wheat pennies in 1930 for making the coin common, but still desirable to collectors due to its age and place in American history. In circulated condition, the coin shows clear signs of use. The obverse features a profile of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor D. Brenner. In a circulated example, this portrait is often worn, especially on the cheekbone, jawline, and hair above the forehead. The word liberty to the left of Lincoln remains visible but may appear faint in certain spots. The motto "In God We Trust" running across the top of the coin is generally legible but might show some weakness from repeated handling over time. The date 1934 is present, though the digits can show softening around the edges due to 2 years of wear. The reverse design shows two wheat ears arching along the left and right sides of the coin with the words 1 cent and United States of America. In the center, above the wheat, is the motto E pluribus unum. In circulated examples, the fine details of the wheat stalks may be smoothed out or completely flat. Still, the overall layout remains easy to recognize and most of the lettering can be read without difficulty. The surfaces will likely show small nicks or contact marks, and the rim may be worn down slightly in places. The color of this circulated coin is typically a brown or dark brown tone, which is natural for older copper coins. Exposure to air, moisture, and handling over the years causes oxidation, which darkens the surface. While a brilliant red uncirculated version of this coin would be highly valuable, a circulated example holds more modest value. However, it still appeals to collectors who enjoy older coins with history, even if they are not in perfect condition. The 1930 for wheat penny played a role in daily life during a difficult period in American history. It may have been used in stores to buy food, newspapers, or school supplies. It passed through the hands of children and adults who were trying to get by during years of economic struggle. Though not rare, the coin has become a small piece of history representing a time of resilience and change. Because of its connection to this era, it continues to hold interest for those collecting Lincoln cents or coins from the Great Depression period. In today's market, the value of a circulated 1930 for Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark is generally modest, but higher grade examples, even in circulated condition, can sell for a premium. The coin becomes more appealing if the date and design details are still clear and if the surface is relatively free of corrosion or major damage. Coins with deeper scratches, heavy discoloration, or rim damage may have less collector interest, but still retain some value for those building complete sets or enjoying the history of American coinage. Proper storage is important even for circulated coins. Keeping the coin in a dry, cool place and avoiding cleaning or polishing helps preserve its current state. Coin collectors often use cardboard flips or plastic holders to prevent further wear. Cleaning a coin, especially an old copper one, can reduce its value by removing the natural patina and giving it an unnatural appearance. Collectors who assemble complete sets of Lincoln cents often look for examples from every year and mint mark combination. The 1930 for Philadelphia wheat penny fills an important spot in that collection and can be found with some patience in circulation or in old family collections. Though not the rarest or most valuable, it has become one of the enduring symbols of American numismatic history due to its age and background. Next up we have 1905 Indian head cent coin condition fine. This coin belongs to one of the most iconic and widely collected series in American numismatics. The Indian head cent was first introduced in the year 1859 and was minted continuously until 1909. By 1905, the Indian head penny had become a common sight in the pockets of Americans and served as an essential part of commerce across the United States. The design of the coin was created by James Barton Longacre, the chief engraver of the United States Mint at the time. Despite its name, the obverse of the coin does not depict a Native American, but rather Lady Liberty wearing a Native American headdress. This fusion of symbolism was meant to represent liberty and strength, while giving the coin a unique and distinctly American identity. The coin is struck in bronze, which is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This composition gives the Indian head cent its distinctive reddish-brown tone, which in circulated condition often appears as a dark brown or chocolate shade. In fine condition, a 1905 Indian head cent shows moderate circulation with evident wear, but still retains enough detail to be easily identified. The word Liberty on the headband of the portrait may be partially visible, and the feather lines in the headdress will show some merging, though the outline remains clear. On the reverse, the wreath and shield remain prominent, though not as crisp as in higher grades. The year 1905 saw a high mintage of Indian head cents, with over 80 million pieces struck by the Philadelphia Mint. There is no mint mark on the coin, as all Indian head cents prior to 1908 were produced only at the Philadelphia Mint. Because of this large mintage, the 1905 Indian head penny is considered common among the series. However, its age and historical value still make it desirable to many collectors, especially those building typesets or collecting by date. Fine condition is considered a mid-level grade for circulated coins where major design elements are still present but not sharp. It falls between very good and very fine on the grading scale and offers a balance between affordability and visible detail. What makes this coin particularly attractive is its place in American history. The year 1905 was part of a period of growth and industrial expansion in the United States. The country was transitioning from an agrarian society to an industrialized one, and coins like the Indian head penny were used by workers, merchants, and citizens in cities and rural areas alike. It passed through the hands of people buying goods, newspapers, and train tickets. The wear seen on the coin today tells the story of its long journey through American life more than a century ago. Although the 1905 Indian head cent is not considered rare, it is still collectible and in demand, especially in mid to high grades. In fine condition, its market value can range between $15 to $30 depending on eye appeal, toning, and surface quality. Coins with smooth surfaces, free from corrosion, and with even color often command higher premiums. While this particular example is in fine condition and therefore does not approach the high value seen in mint state coins, it still holds interest for hobbyists and collectors due to its age, design, and place in numismatic history. There are no known major errors or varieties for the 1905 Indian head cent, making it a straightforward entry in the series. However, coins with die cracks, repunched dates, or strong strikes can attract slight premiums. Because this coin is over 100 years old, even a minor variety can become significant to those who specialize in Indian head cents. It is always advisable for collectors to examine their coins under magnification or seek expert opinions when evaluating for subtle varieties or hidden features. Collectors who include the 1905 Indian head cent in their collection often store it in protective holders to prevent further wear or environmental damage. Bronze coins are sensitive to humidity and pollutants in the air, which can cause verdigris or green corrosion over time. A coin like this should be stored in a dry, stable environment away from direct sunlight. Cleaning is never recommended for older coins, as it can damage the surface and reduce collector value. Even coins with small marks and spots are preferred. In original and touched condition, by most serious collectors, the long-lasting appeal of the Indian head cent lies in its historical context and beautiful design. It marks a time in American coinage when artistry and symbolism were integral to the look and feel of everyday money. For many, the Indian head cent evokes a sense of nostalgia and curiosity about life in the early 20th century. It is a gateway coin that draws people into the world of collecting and helps them appreciate the value of preserving history through coins. First up, 1920 Lincoln Wheat penny coin without mint mark coin condition fine. This coin comes from the early decades of the Lincoln Wheat cent series, which began in 1909. The 1920 issue was produced at a time when the country was recovering from the First World War and entering the prosperous years of the Roaring Twenties. In fine condition, this penny retains most of its major details, though wears visible on the higher parts of the design. The coin has no mint mark, meaning it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which was the main production facility for U.S. coinage during that time. The obverse side features the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln facing right. In fine condition, the portrait still has good shape with most features visible, though slightly worn. The jawline and cheek may show smoothing from circulation, but the overall structure of Lincoln's face is clear. The inscription "In God We Trust" remains strong across the top, and the word "Liberty" on the left side is fully visible. The date 1920 on the lower right is sharp and easy to read even after a century of use. The reverse side of the coin shows two stalks of wheat curving along the sides with the words 1 cent and United States of America in between. In a fine grade, the wheat stalks show some flattening and loss of detail, especially near the tops where circulation has worn them down. Still, the overall design is intact and the lettering is readable. The phrase "E pluribus unum" above the main text may show slight fading, but is usually still present in this condition. The coin's surface often displays a natural brown tone common to circulated copper coins, with the possibility of small marks or uneven toning from age. The Philadelphia Mint produced a very large quantity of Lincoln cents in 1920, with over 300 million coins struck that year. Despite the high mintage, the coin remains desirable due to its age and its role in the early part of the wheat penny series. Collectors often seek examples from the 1910s and 1920s to complete full-year sets, and the 1920 issue is considered a key piece for anyone interested in coins from the post-war era. While this coin is not rare in circulated grades, it is valued for its historical background. The 1920s marked a time of major change in the United States, with shifts in industry, culture, and technology. This penny would have been used in everyday life for buying goods, services, and perhaps tucked away in jars or drawers for savings. Its continued presence a century later connects collectors to those everyday moments in American history. In today's collector market, a 1920 Lincoln Wheat penny in fine condition can carry a modest but meaningful value. Its price may not be high, but its significance lies in its contribution to the full story of American coinage. Coins in this grade are often used as teaching tools or as starter coins for those new to the hobby. They allow collectors to handle a piece of the past without needing to spend large sums. Caring for a fine grade 1920 penny involves keeping it in a dry, stable environment. It should not be cleaned or altered, as this can reduce its appeal and collector interest. A soft holder or flip made of non-PVC material is ideal for preserving the coin's current state. Even in circulated condition, it can remain stable for many years when stored properly. For collectors building a set by date and mint mark, the 1920 no mint mark penny is an essential addition. It represents both the durability of copper coinage and the widespread use of pennies in early 20th century commerce. Its design remains one of the most iconic in American coin history and continues to be appreciated for its simplicity and strength. This coin also serves as a reminder of how everyday objects can survive for generations, carrying stories and meaning beyond their face value. Even though this penny was worth only 1 cent when it was minted, its survival into the present day gives it a value that extends far beyond money. For collectors and historians, it is a small but powerful link to the People and times that shaped modern America. Next up we have 1941 Lincoln Wheat penny coin without mint mark coin condition used. This coin was minted at the Philadelphia Mint and carries no mint mark, which is typical for coins from that facility during this period. The year 1941 marked the beginning of a significant time in American history just before the United States entered World War II. As such, this coin reflects the transition from the Great Depression to a wartime economy and circulated widely through the hands of millions of Americans. The design remains the classic Lincoln Wheat cent, which features a right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and two wheat ears on the reverse, along with the words 1 cent and United States of America, the motto "In God We Trust." Arcs above Lincoln's head, while Liberty sits to the left and the date to the right. In use condition, this 1941 penny likely shows moderate to heavy wear from decades of circulation. The details in Lincoln's hair and coat may be smoothed over, and the high points such as his cheek and jawline are likely flat. Despite this, most of the coin's text will remain visible, and the overall design should still be recognizable. On the reverse, the wheat ears may appear faded with less definition along the grain lines and leaf edges. However, the central text, including 1 cent and the country's name, is usually still readable even on well-used examples. The color may have changed from its original reddish tone to a darker brown or even grayish hue due to oxidation and long-term handling. The 1941 Lincoln Wheat penny was produced in very large quantities, with over 400 million coins struck in Philadelphia alone. Because of this high mintage, the coin is considered common among collectors and is typically not rare in circulated condition. Even so, it holds historical and sentimental value, especially to those who collect Lincoln cents by date or enjoy assembling circulated sets from the early to mid-20th century. The coin also represents a turning point in American coinage history just before the composition change that would occur later in the decade with the introduction of steel cents during wartime metal shortages. While not a high-value coin in used condition, a 1941 Lincoln Wheat penny can still fetch a small premium over face value depending on its exact appearance. Factors such as even wear, smooth surfaces, and original patina can make one example more appealing than another. Most coins in this condition are valued between a few cents and $1, though certain examples with unusual features such as die cracks, repunched dates, or other small minting anomalies can be worth slightly more to specialized collectors. Those hoping to find rare errors sometimes examine coins like the 1941 Wheat penny closely for doubling or misaligned strikes, though these features are uncommon and not guaranteed. As with all copper-based coins, proper care is important to preserve what remains of the coin's surface. It is best not to clean or polish circulated coins, as this can remove natural toning and reduce their collectible value. Instead, such coins should be stored in a dry, cool place, a protective holder that limits air exposure, even in worn condition. The 1941 penny holds appeal as a vintage collectible. It is a frequent find in old jars, drawers, and inherited collections. It is often one of the first coins that new collectors encounter and can serve as an entry point into the broader world of numismatics. Collectors who build Lincoln cent collections usually aim to complete a full set from 1909 to 1958, which includes the entire wheat penny era. The 1941 penny is an easy and affordable coin to acquire, making it a regular component of these sets. Its design by Victor David Brenner remains one of the most enduring in American coinage history and has been in use in some form for more than a century. For that reason, even a well-used 1941 cent represents a piece of American tradition and artistic legacy. It links the collector to the early 20th century and offers a small but tangible piece of history that once moved through stores, farms, train stations, and homes across the nation. Next up we have 1900 Indian head cent coin condition circulated. This coin represents the closing decade of the Indian head cent series, which was minted from 1859 to 1909. It carries the classic design created by James Barton Longacre featuring the profile of Liberty wearing a Native American headdress. The reverse side bears a laurel wreath encircling the words 1 cent with a small shield at the top. In circulated condition, the 1900 Indian head cent typically shows noticeable wear from years of handling, but still holds strong appeal for collectors due to its historical value and overall age. When a coin is in circulated condition, it means it has been used in everyday commerce and therefore has visible signs of wear. On the obverse, the high points of the design, such as Liberty's cheekbone, jawline, and the feather tips in the headdress may be worn smooth. The word Liberty on the headband might be faint or partially visible depending on the level of circulation. The date 1900 is usually clear even in moderately worn coins. The fields may contain minor scratches, small contact marks, and a patina that ranges from medium brown to dark brown, reflecting years of exposure to air, oils, and touch. On the reverse, the details in the wreath are typically flattened, especially near the top where wear begins first. The shield at the top might have softened lines, and the central lines in the leaves may no longer be distinct. However, the primary inscriptions, 1 cent and United States of America, should remain legible. The wreath's general shape and design can still be appreciated even with the wear that time brings. Some circulated examples may also show slight discoloration or faint corrosion, especially if the coin was exposed to moisture, but this does not erase the value collectors see in authentic older coins. The 1900 Indian head cent was struck at the Philadelphia Mint and does not carry a mint mark. Over 66 million were produced in that year, which makes it one of the more common dates in the series. Still, its age makes it a desirable coin for collectors, especially those building full date sets or looking to complete the turn of the century portion of the collection. Because of its wide mintage and general availability, the 1900 cent is often one of the more affordable ways to own a 19th century United States coin. While circulated examples are not rare, they are still important. A 1900 Indian head cent in average circulated condition may hold modest market value, but its true worth often lies in its historical significance and nostalgic appeal. Coins like these were used during a time of major growth and transition in the United States. By the year 1900, the country was shifting from a rural agricultural economy to a modern industrial nation. Millions of people handled coins, just like this one, during everyday transactions, from purchasing supplies to saving in piggy banks and hiding away in drawers and coin purses. Many collectors begin their interest in Indian head cents by acquiring circulated examples such as the 1900 coin. Its affordability and clear connection to the past make it ideal for educational use, display, and historical appreciation. Holding such a coin creates a tangible link to American life more than 100 years ago. Schools, trains, early telephones, and the rise of urbanization were changing the landscape of the country, and coins like this one passed through countless hands, witnessing that transformation. In circulated condition, this coin should be preserved carefully to avoid further damage. It is best to store it in a protective coin holder or flip and keep it in a cool, dry place. Avoid using chemicals or polishing the surface, as this can strip the coin of its original patina and reduce collector interest. Even if the coin is not extremely valuable in dollar terms, it holds personal and historical significance and is best maintained in its natural state. Collectors and enthusiasts often include the 1900 Indian head cent in themed sets, such as coins from the Gilded Age or turn of the century collections. Some also seek it as part of a birth year set or as a gift for someone with a connection to the year 1900. Because of its moderate cost and decent availability, it continues to be a gateway coin for people entering the hobby of numismatics and looking for their first pre-1900 piece. With proper care and appreciation, a circulated 1900 Indian head cent remains a treasured part of many collections across the world. Next up, we have 1938 De Lincoln Wheat penny coin without mint mark coin condition fine. This coin was minted in Denver during a time when the United States was still recovering from the economic difficulties of the Great Depression. While most Philadelphia minted coins of this era do not carry a mint mark, the 1938 D penny does feature the small d mint mark under the date, indicating its origin at the Denver Mint. However, if a 1938 penny is observed without any mint mark, it typically means it was struck in Philadelphia. In this case, since the description states 1938 D and also mentions without mint mark, it is likely a general reference, and we focus on the Denver issue for accuracy and context. The coin shows Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse in fine condition. This means that most of Lincoln's facial features are still visible with only moderate wear. His hair and jawline may show some flattening from circulation, but there is still clear definition between his ear and the back of his head. The word liberty on the left and the motto "In God We Trust" above are sharp and fully legible. The date 1938 remains clean, and the small d mint mark below is usually present and clear, though it may show slight wear around the edges. The reverse features the classic wheat ears design, which defines the wheat penny series, in fine condition. The wheat stalks on either side of the words 1 cent and United States of America are still visible with moderate detail. The central text remains bold and readable. The motto "E pluribus unum" arches across the top of the coin, and while it may show minor signs of wear, it is still present and legible. The fields of the coin may show some small nicks or scratches from handling, but no major damage. The surface color is typically a medium brown or reddish brown, reflecting the aging of the copper alloy used in these coins. In terms of historical context, this coin was produced at a time of relative stability. The late 1930s saw improvements in industrial production and employment. Franklin D. Roosevelt was leading the country through major reforms and programs designed to strengthen the economy and infrastructure. A 1938 D penny may have traveled through local shops or passed between hands at gas stations, schools, or farms during an era of national rebuilding and growth. The mintage of the 1938 D penny was just under 20 million, which makes it less common than some other years, but still widely available to collectors. In fine condition, the coin holds modest market value, but remains attractive to those assembling complete sets of Lincoln cents, especially for its Denver Mint origin. The coin does not contain any silver or precious metal value, but its historical and numismatic importance adds to its appeal. Collectors who come across a 1938 D wheat penny in fine condition often appreciate the balance between affordability and preservation. It serves as an example of how circulating coins can maintain their design and detail even after decades of use. These coins are often found in old collections or passed down through families, offering both historical curiosity and a connection to the past. For educational collections and starter coin albums, a fine condition 1938 D penny fills an important spot and illustrates how different mints contributed to national coinage. Storage of such coins is important to protect their condition. Exposure to air, moisture, and oils from skin can gradually alter the color and surface of copper coins. A simple holder or album sleeve will help preserve the details and avoid further wear. It is also recommended to avoid cleaning the coin, since doing so can reduce its value and remove the natural aging tone that many collectors find appealing. In fine condition, this coin represents both durability and design excellence. Even after more than 80 years, the main features of the coin remain strong. The enduring popularity of the Lincoln Wheat Penny series keeps coins like the 1938 D in regular demand, especially among those who prefer coins with visible history and character. While the value may not be high in terms of price, the true worth lies in its story and the journey it has taken since leaving the Denver Mint nearly a century ago. Next up, we have 1939 Lincoln Wheat Penny coin without mint mark, coin condition fine. This coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint and therefore does not display a mint mark, which is typical of coins struck at that facility during this period. The 1939 Lincoln Wheat Penny features the familiar design introduced in 1909 by Victor David Brenner, which includes the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front and two wheat stalks flanking the denomination on the reverse. The front of the coin displays the word Liberty to the left of Lincoln's profile, the date 1939 to the right, and the motto "In God We Trust" along the upper rim. The back of the coin reads 1 cent and United States of America in bold capital letters. Between the two wheat ears, with the phrase "E pluribus unum" above dot in fine condition, this coin shows moderate wear but retains a majority of its original design details. Lincoln's hair and cheekbone may be worn yet still clearly defined, while the lettering and date remain sharp and legible. The fields or flat areas of the coin may have light scratches from circulation, though the coin's overall structure is preserved. On the reverse, the wheat ears should still show visible lines and shape, though not as crisp as in higher grades. The lettering on the back remains bold and the general layout is easy to distinguish. The color of the coin is likely a rich medium brown that forms as natural patina on older copper coins after many years of exposure to the elements and handling. The 1939 wheat penny is a coin that appeals to collectors for both its design and historical context. It was minted during a period of economic recovery following the Great Depression and just before the start of World War II. In total, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 300 million of these coins in 1939, making it a common year in terms of mintage. However, fine condition coins from this year remain popular, especially among those looking to complete Lincoln wheat cent collections by date and mint mark. The coin's historical background gives it added interest as it represents a snapshot of pre-war America and the ongoing evolution of United States coinage. Although it is not considered rare, the 1939 Lincoln wheat penny can hold value beyond face value in fine condition, especially if it maintains even color-consistent surface wear and no major damage. A coin in this state is typically worth more than basic circulated coins, though still within the reach of new and casual collectors. The value generally depends on market demand condition and whether there are any unusual trades, such as mint errors or doubled dies, which are very rare but can significantly increase a coin's worth. Even without such features, a fine condition example offers a satisfying balance of visual detail and historical charm. This coin also plays an important role in many Lincoln wheat penny albums, because many collectors aim to build a complete set. From 1909 to 1958, the 1939 coin is one of the essential pieces. Its availability makes it a good choice for those seeking quality examples without needing to pay high premiums. In fine condition, the coin remains attractive and represents a midpoint in the wheat penny era before the wartime composition changes of the early 1940s. The consistency in design over these decades makes coins like this one valuable in documenting the artistic and monetary history of the United States. Handling and storage are key to preserving the condition of any fine coin. It is best to avoid cleaning the coin, as this can lower its value and remove the natural patina that many collectors appreciate. Proper storage in a dry place with minimal exposure to air and moisture will help protect its surface from further wear or discoloration. Holders, albums, and flips designed for coin collecting are ideal ways to keep this type of coin safe for long-term display or investment purposes. Over time, well-preserved examples may become more difficult to find as the effects of age and mishandling take their toll on remaining specimens. Next up, we have 1940 Lincoln wheat penny coin without mint marked coin condition used. This coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint and carries no mint mark, which was standard for coins from this facility during that time. The 1940 Lincoln wheat penny belongs to a well-known and widely collected series that began in 1909 and continued until 1958. The obverse features the profile of President Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse displays to wheat ears, which gave the coin its popular nickname wheat penny. In used condition, the coin shows noticeable signs of circulation. The high points of Lincoln's portrait are often worn down and smoothed by years of handling. His jawline and hair may appear flat, and the cheekbone can look blended into the field of the coin. The word Liberty remains visible, though some fading or weakness may be present. The motto "In God We Trust" at the top is usually readable though. It may show softening on certain letters. The date 1940 stands out clearly, but may be accompanied by small scratches or wear around the digits. Since the coin does not carry a mint mark, it confirms it was minted in Philadelphia, which produced over 500 million Lincoln cents that year. On the reverse side, the wear continues to show. The wheat stalks on either side of the lettering often lose much of their fine detail. In heavily circulated examples, only the outlines of the wheat may be visible. The words 1 cent and United States of America in the center are still legible, though there might be flattening or rubbing across the surface. The phrase pluribus unum curving above the wheat ears might appear faint or soft, especially in coins that saw decades of circulation and commerce. The surface color of this 1940 penny in used condition is typically a medium to dark brown. Copper coins naturally darken over time, especially when exposed to air and moisture. Handling also contributes to a duller appearance as oils from skin accelerate oxidation. Small nicks, dents, and rim bruises may be visible across the coin from routine contact with other coins or surfaces. Still, despite the wear, these coins retain much of their historical presence and are appreciated by collectors for their age and legacy. While not rare in circulated condition, the 1940 wheat penny is a key date for completing a Lincoln cent album. Its value is generally modest, though it increases slightly for coins with fewer marks or more detail. Most of these used coins are worth a small premium above face value, but hold much more historical and nostalgic significance than monetary worth. They serve as reminders of everyday commerce in the early 20th century and reflect the durability of American coinage. This penny would have passed through the hands of workers, shopkeepers, students, and others during the 1940s, a decade that brought major change to the United States and the world. From the tail end of the Great Depression through the beginning of World War II, the economy and society were both shifting rapidly. A coin like this helped buy food, newspapers, or streetcar fares and holds silent witness to the events and people of that time. The 1940 wheat penny without a mint mark remains a favorite among those who enjoy collecting Lincoln cents. Even in used condition, it represents an affordable and tangible link to the past. While not valuable in the investment, since the coin's worth comes from the story it tells and its role in American history, it is often one of the early dates that collectors seek when assembling a full run of wheat cents due to its availability and affordability. Next up we have 1935 Lincoln wheat penny coin without mint mark, coin condition good. This coin was struck during a period when the United States was still facing the effects of the Great Depression. In the mid-1930s, coins played an essential role in daily commerce, and many of them circulated widely over the years. The 1935 Lincoln wheat penny is one of those coins that passed through many hands, buying small goods, saving in jars, or exchanging change for meals. Produced at the Philadelphia Mint, it does not carry a mint mark as was standard for coins from this facility. In good condition, this penny shows visible signs of circulation and wear. The profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse remains easily recognizable, although the finer details of his hair, face, and clothing are smoothed down from decades of use. The words "In God We Trust" above his head and "Liberty" to the left are still legible, though they may appear worn and not as sharp as they once were. The date 1935 remains readable, which is important for identification and collecting purposes. Despite the wear, it maintains the basic structure of the original design, which is a testament to the quality of the minting process at the time. The reverse of the coin displays the classic wheat ears design, with the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America in the center and E pluribus unum along the top. In this condition, the wheat stalks are likely flat, with some of their detail faded from handling. The lettering remains mostly intact and readable, although the depth of the strikes may be diminished due to circulation. The surface color has likely turned into a medium brown or dark tone, common in older circulated copper coins. Some spotting or discoloration may appear along with minor contact marks from decades of use in commerce. More than 245 million Lincoln cents were Minted in Philadelphia in 1935, making this coin fairly common in general terms. However, finding one in good condition that still maintains full dates and legible design elements can still be rewarding for beginning collectors or those interested in coins with historical value. The value of a 1935 Lincoln wheat penny in good condition is not typically high in monetary terms, but its real worth often comes from its age and the glimpse it offers into the era it comes from. This coin would have been in use during a time of recovery in America. Franklin D. Roosevelt had introduced the New Deal to revive the economy, and many infrastructure projects were underway across the nation. It is very possible that this penny passed through the hands of workers, farmers, and small shop owners who were rebuilding their lives during this transitional period. Coins like this one were part of everyday life and offer collectors a chance to hold something that was used in a very different world from today. For collectors, the 1935 penny without a mint mark in good condition may be one of the earlier steps in assembling a full Lincoln wheat cent set. It is not difficult to acquire that allows collectors to appreciate how pennies age over time through circulation. It also serves as a contrast to higher grade examples where detail is preserved, showing the full scope of the engraver's original design. The coin's work tells a story of time and use and gives personality to each individual example. Proper storage of such a coin helps prevent further deterioration. While it may not be valuable in a financial sense, it is best preserved in a simple coin holder or sleeve to avoid additional wear or exposure to moisture. Cleaning is not recommended as it can strip the natural patina that adds to its historical character and collector interest. Keeping it with other wheat cents of similar age and condition can create a meaningful and educational collection that highlights American history through currency. In summary, the 1935 Lincoln wheat penny, without a mint mark and in good condition, represents a durable and lasting piece of the American coinage tradition. It reflects both economic challenges and resilience of the time and continues to be a popular collectible for enthusiasts drawn to the rich past embodied in each worn but enduring copper cent.